Is that a little Chinese girl said in rush hour? Hello. We are here to talk about the interior offensive line. All right, John Simpson, Alijah Vera-Tucker, Josh Myers, Joe Tipman, and everybody else. This is a strong group. We're going to have a strong conversation with two strong men. All right, here we go. It's live. Boy Green meets Wudi.
Can you guys help us get a jet chant here? Yeah, going.
Oh.
Okay, right. Come on in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go!
J-E-T-S, jet, let's go! J-E-T-S, jet, let's go! There you go,
Third Party Thursday.
Chris joining us here on the program with a capital P here on the program.
Jake Asman, come on down. How you doing, good sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, the boy Green is known for having the intro, but Wudi, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words, son.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there, baby.
Boy Green
Meets Wudi. Welcome to another episode of Boy Green Meets Wudi. It is your boy, James Wudi, and you already know we are Wudi, rocking everywhere. Right here, my man who is rocking from side to side, hey, hit him with it, is the boy who became king, none other than Mr. Paul Esden Jr. in the building. And before I pass it to him, I just got to say, congratulations to Frank. We are officially in the Fourth Reich. Okay, we out here. He is out here doing his thing. Hopefully, it goes better than the Third Reich. But hey, anyway, congratulations to him. He is the man who will be calling the plays, doing everything on the offensive side for the New York Jets. So congratulations to him. And just in case the Titanic goes down, I hope he can swim. Paul, I'll pass it to you.
By the way, you normally love CBW in the audience on Twitter, representing.
You have to jump on this real quick. Oh, my God.
But I want to go for this immediately because, right, he's always saying, oh, Wudi, he's tagging me all the time. Oh, Wudi, what do you think about this stupid thing Boy Green said? All the time. Chit, chat. And CBW goes, oh, I think I know. Oh, John Simpson or AVT, I think I know where he's going. Pay them all. I'm Oprah Winfrey. You get money. But the irony here, CBW, is that's Wudi's take, which we're going to get to here on the show about that. So, fascinating. All of a sudden, CBW, that middle B must stand for Boy Green, baby, because you switched sides. You're on my side now. Welcome to the show, baby, which we'll get to here on the program. So, CBW, let's get into it. By the way, that is the poll right now up on YouTube. Which would you prefer, Jet fans? AVT or John Simpson? Because that seems to be the choice for the Jets is who should they keep, one or the other. There is an open spot apparently in the depth chart at left guard. Will that be filled by John Simpson, who was a left guard last year? Or AVT, that's where his career started at left guard for the New York Jets, with Tippmann over at right guard, Josh Myers currently at center, and then, of course, Olu Muiwa and Armand Membu at tackle. So, Woodster, why don't, before we even get to this choice or that choice, pick door number 3, because that's your life, Wudi. You march to the beat of your own drum. So, I was going to say beat along, but that could have been interpreted in a lot of ways. So instead, I will pass the sticks back to you, my friend, and you explain why that's not the choice. I have tainted the poll that it is not one or the other. On the Titanic, you can pull Jack up and also pull someone else up. Multiple people don't have to die. So, you know what, Wudi, please fill us in.
It's pretty simple. You like to retain good players. The offensive line, I think we all feel, is one of the greatest strengths on this roster. One thing that it sounds like we're taking for granted is how healthy they were this year. They were the only team in the NFL to have the same, combination of starters. So that should tell you, A, that's not common, right? To have all your starters, healthy. And then, of course, if you just simply look at any of the last, 10 Jets years, you should know that people go down with injury. I mean, if you were even technically speaking, AVT went down before the season even started. So I think it's important to have, 7 great players on the roster given what happens. So, that when I say 7, there are 5 that start. And then you have that, fantastic swing tackle who, Chukwuma Okorafor was the swing tackle. He didn't have to get any burn, but he was out here. And he has starting experience, years of starting experience. And then, you would have your interior. So you keep AVT and John Simpson, and you have that. So that's the angle that I'm coming at, is that we need good players. I'm trying to go 7 deep, the 6th one being a swing tackle, and that 7 being a quality interior player. And I'm not ready to say that's Cole Laval. I know he spoke to, but I'm not trying to, I'm trying to get somebody who has years of starting experience like Okorafor does. So that's where I'm coming from in terms of, let's keep them both if that's possible.
I will just carry that torch to say, if it is possible, I'm all in. Yes, let's bring them both. If that's a possibility, I'm open to it. Let's flip this up, because we've been doing this series where we're talking about all these positions, and this is meant to be hopefully informational and entertaining, folks. Is that we let you know which free agents or which Jets are set to be free agents in whatever form or fashion. I'll explain that in a second. And then what does the group currently boast before we get to free agency. So here are the departing Jets interior offensive linemen. And of course, interior offensive line is left guard, center, and right guard. We're going to put tackles. We'll punt those aside because we're feeling pretty good about Olumuyiwa and Armand. We're feeling pretty good. So on the interior, here are the people that are set to be free agents. That is John Simpson, who the Jets signed 2 years ago to that 2-year deal, and he was very nice in year 1 and year 2. He played in all the games too, so very nice in terms of availability there for Simpson. You have AVT, of course, did not play this season. He got hurt right before the year, tearing his other triceps. So he's torn both triceps and an Achilles. He's had 3 season-ending injuries across his 5 years in the league. He is set to be a free agent. Now, I have Max Mitchell on here, and some people go, wait a second, he's a tackle. Well, technically, if you look at the analytics, he's played both tackle and guard. So I wanted to sort of include him as opposed to excluding him if we end up doing a tackle episode. So he's on the list, but he's played both. And then finally, there's Xavier Newman-Johnson. He is a RFA, a.k.a. a restricted free agent, and we explained restricted free agents a couple shows ago. So whether the Jets choose to tender him or not, I would imagine for Xavier, they probably don't tender him at all and let him just be a free agent and choose to bring him back cheaper than what the RFA tags and tenders would be. So again, if John Simpson and ABT can both come back, blessed be he. By the way, also, let's give a special shout out here to Max Mitchell. He's been, this past season, was the jumbo tight end. They did a lot of that kind of personnel, and Max Mitchell was always that extra tight end, that extra jumbo package. He did actually pretty well. So little, I don't know what that's worth financially speaking, but for whatever his role was as a former 4th-round draft choice out of Louisiana, I like that for Max Mitchell, some extra Brutus beefcake. So he's sort of the hidden story we don't talk about because of the starting 5, but shout out to Max Mitchell.
Wasn't expecting any shout outs for Max Mitchell, but I what do you mean? Oof.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
I didn't say, F the shout out. I'm just saying I was not expecting a shout out to Max Mitchell.
Okay. All right, sure.
I have nothing but endless love and joy and adoration for the 2022 draft class, that blessed draft class by the late Joe Douglas. And
God rest his soul.
he was part of it. So I'm just said I wasn't expecting, but these guys, there's definitely I feel like there's some calls that need to be made. I can't lie, I would be interested in calling all 4 of them.
Wow, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, like I just said about the depth, and Max Mitchell, he was because he had to start his rookie year. He showed some flashes. And then, did not play as well as those flashes. But, he found a spot, like you just said, jumbo tight end. We'll see if that continues this year. Frank Reich, going to do his thing. But I would definitely keep them, and especially his versatility, being a guard and a tackle. Xavier Newman had one of the worst NFL debuts in history, but he's still out here and doing his thing. So I don't mind the depth, especially depending on what happens at center. So I would definitely place a call for all 4 of these guys and try to see what they do in the next year or two.
And go figure. J-Boy says none of them. Like, get rid of all of them. I'm like, oh, hot damn. Okay, so some various takes happening here. Also, thank God Xavier Newman-Johnson's okay. If you guys remember that Pittsburgh game, that wasn't 2023, that was 2024. Rodgers, I'm trying to make sure I get the right one. Yeah, Jets, Rodgers, yes. I think so. I actually may be conflating that now. It might have been last year.
What is the question?
Long story short, the point is that the Jets played the Steelers, and Xavier Newman-Johnson had a very scary, on a special teams play, had a very scary neck injury where his body collapsed on the sideline and he had to get rushed to a hospital, and it was very scary. So whichever Steelers-Jets game it was, we played them several times the last couple years.
Am I thinking about the same? I might be thinking about the wrong dude. Wasn't the dude who played against the Giants? Like, we had like 3 centers out. And we had to start like the dude. He was just called up from the practice squad, and he was the center. And he had 3 fumble, like just 3 botched snaps. Like, he played horrible.
That may be him. The one highlight that Xavier Newman-Johnson had, and I can't remember if this was my gut tells me it was a Zach Wilson, but I can't remember. The Jets had this discombobulated offensive line, which is normally the case, not last season, so it was obviously a couple years ago. But Xavier Newman-Johnson had to come up from the practice squad, be the center, and at the end of the game, they were able to rush to the line with like 1 second to go, and the quarterback was able to spike it, whoever that quarterback was. Xavier Newman-Johnson was the center, so he was like this key piece of keeping that game alive, and they won on a game-winning field goal. So
I don't know if I've seen Newman-Johnson. I don't know if I've seen that.
Well, let me change it for anyone that doesn't know. So I don't know if he got married, if that's why it changed, but he's always been Xavier Newman. The Johnson is a relative new addition over the last 18 months or something. So that's
he didn't hit me up with that. So so then it's definitely the same person. Xavier. I mean, it can't be a different. So I'm talking about his debut was against the Giants. It was one of the worst games I ever watched. And we watched a lot of bad games. But this game. What's his name got hurt?
Oh yes. We were both doing the same thing. I think we're both talking about the Giants game, the good and bad that came from that game. I think so now. Yes.
Well, was there any good from it?
Wasn't that the ugliest game of all time where Tommy DeVito threw 6 passes for Brian Dable after?
Someone got hurt. So it was DeVito literally just handed it off to Saquon. Like, Saquon just ran it the whole game. It was an overtime. I believe it went to overtime.
It did. And we had some random receiver that caught this crazy ball and he went crazy. And yes. I think the crazy play that I'm remembering is at the end of regulation to have a chance to go to overtime is where they had it. I don't know why we have all these Xavier Newman stories, but yes, I believe. So
now all of a sudden he's Newman-Johnson. That's what
I see what you're saying. I got you.
Yeah. But okay, Newman-Johnson. Okay.
Yeah, recent change. So there you go. Salute to him as well. I just want to answer this one because I saw this one in here. This one was also from J-Boy. For anyone that maybe think of this question, he says the fact that JF referencing Justin Fields is still a Jet are freaking bad, very bad.
Come on now, Pro Bowl JF.
Yes, of course, Pro Bowl JF. folks, the Jets don't have their full staff in yet. So, like, the fact that he hasn't been cut on February 5th, like, what's like whether they cut him on February 5th or March 5th, it doesn't make any difference contractually speaking. The Jets or any of these teams will have 2 post-June 1 designations to use. It'll be their choice if they want to split it. So I wouldn't look into, look at this dysfunctional mess. They haven't cut Justin Fields yet. They haven't even hired the full staff. So I wouldn't put much stock into that. Again, I don't expect Justin Fields to be on this team in 2026 . So
I love Sharon. Shout out Sharon. You already know one of my all-time faves. Her explanation. I guess Wudi adopted Xavier. We didn't know
God
that.
bless America.
Yes. What a great guy. So Xavier Newman Johnson. Shout out Wudi Johnson.
Congratulations, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, great. So Wudi said he would keep both. Here's just my very quick. I'm going to microwave this take.
Well, all four. You didn't say nothing about all 4.
Oh, okay. So
I'll keep all 4.
Yes. So Max Mitchell, I'd bring back. Again, Xavier Newman Johnson, I would play the game of Monopoly that is the NFL. I believe the tenders that are available at the RFA level will be too expensive for my taste for Xavier Newman Johnson. So, again, you play the game. You don't tender him. He becomes a straight-up free agent, and then you negotiate a new deal, or you're able to negotiate it as part of it so he never reaches the open market. So either way, I don't think people are going to be rushing to grab Xavier Newman Johnson, with all due respect. So I think you can play the game where you get him for cheaper. So I'm for bringing him back. I'm for bringing Max Mitchell back. He's a fine jumbo extra lineman and fine depth, and Steve Hyden, by all expectations, is going to return. So the scheme from that perspective should be the same. Relatively speaking, we'll see what Frank Reich brings in. And then to the John Simpson ABT thing, I think the Jets are going to have to pick between them. If they could have both, phenomenal. I'd rather have 2 than 1. But my baked take on this is ABT has a much higher ceiling when healthy, but he's never healthy. So you have to factor that in. John Simpson, I think, is a more steady Eddie player. I think he started 51 consecutive games, if I remember that right from my article 2 weeks ago. He's started 3 straight full seasons, so he's always available. He was much better in year 1 than year 2 in terms of his ceiling play. He had some penalty issues and things of that nature this past season. So, but he's a solid veteran, and not everyone on your line, as we talk about, and we'll talk about actually in a little bit here, has to be a first rounder and a superstar. So I would probably it's just so tough because ABT, again, when he's healthy, he's awesome. But we just had continuity last year. So, like, John Simpson provided continuity. I'd probably go for ABT for the sex appeal of it. But, and then I'm going to be here in 6 months and he blew out his kerfluffle. And I'm like, geez, well, hopefully we have a good backup. Like, that's the shitty part of it. So, I'll pick, if I had to pick, I'd pick ABT.
I can't lie. ABT is my guy. I've been a big fan. If you had to choose between, or if I had to choose between the two of them, that, like you said, that ceiling, if you're chasing that ceiling, but 2 major things that are going against ABT, it's already been said in the comments, the best ability is availability. Mm-hmm. That's, to have 3, the way you put it makes it sound way worse than how I think about it in my head. You said in 5 seasons, 3 season-ending injury. That's 60%, bro. Like, that's a lot.
That is the math. I can confirm that. Yeah. And by the way, to remind people, torn tricep, tore the other tricep, and then tore his Achilles. Those are the 3 injuries that he's had.
Yeah, that's But then the other factor is the money. Because of the ceiling, like AVT on Spot Track is upwards of 12 million, like 12 point something on
lower than I
Spot
thought.
Track. Okay. Versus John Simpson being 6.3.
6. Wow. All right.
So to spend double, or even more, right? Because there's different numbers. I have seen higher numbers on AVT, but I'm going on Spot Track. So to give 12 or more for that type of coin flip, that I'm not gonna lie, that sounds crazy to me. It really does.
That's fair.
So I might go with Simpson, somebody who I used to call Homer Simpson. I don't have the love for it that I have for AVT, but my man's he's been playing consistent. He's been solid. And, he hasn't really dipped in play. Like, if you're just going to go in, show up to work, one of those lunch pail dudes, he's just clocking in every day. Like, okay, at least we can depend on this dude to clock in every day. Like, all right. And he's going to provide a certain baseline of, talent. Like, that's a really good thing to have, that reliability. That helps people sleep at night. AVT, all that money, we're going to be up every night. Oh, is he awake? Is he alive? Is he good? Is he 100%? So, in a shocker, I'm going John Simpson.
The Simpsons.
You had the Bart shirt the other day.
Yeah, that's for sure. I just want to do this because someone else is asking the Wudi question. I don't know how often I've ever referenced El Dorado on the show. I'm not sure, quite frankly, if I ever have. But both, which is how some people feel about this choice, that there is a choice to be made. I'm trying to find the comment because we've got so many comments, which thank you, everybody, for all the comments here. I was trying to here it is. Keep it simple, RC. Don't we have enough cap space to accommodate both? Yes, the Jets do. My take is this, and maybe my take is wrong. It sometimes happens. I'm mostly right, but every once in a while, there's something wrong. And it's this. Like, if I'm John Simpson, I want a starting job. If I'm ABT, I want a starting job. And I think there are going to be teams in the National Football League this offseason because offensive line play is mostly terrible in the league, and it's scarce. So when offensive linemen reach the open market, they get paid. They get overpaid, and opportunities present themselves. I think if I'm John or AVT, if the Jets won't guarantee me absolutely a starting job, I know someone else will in that pool. And the Jets are obviously not going to franchise tag either of Simpson or AVT. It's $27 million. Yeah, fat chance. You just heard both of the spot track numbers from Wudi. So if I'm John or AVT and the Jets don't give me a good deal, I'm like, all right, I'll check back in with you once I reach the open market and see what everyone else has to say about this. And again, they have the money to accommodate both. If they both want to stay, great. I'm just not sure if both are going to want to stay if you pick one or the other. But again, I could definitely be wrong on that possibility. But these are the ones that are set to leave. Here are the ones that are set to stay. They're under contract. The Jets could do anything with these guys, but still. Josh Myers, so he signed an extension at the end of the year. He would have been a free agent. So he's back under lock and key. Joe Tippmann has 1 year left on his deal. We have an update on that. I wrote a story about it for Heavy on Jets. I'll circle back to him in a second, but let's read the rest of the room. We have Marquise Hayes, who there was a nice little upside play in the offseason. A lot of people were very high on Marquise Hayes, thought he could be a starting level guard, but we never heard from him. The Jets stayed healthy. Blessed be he. Cole Laval, that caught some slander from Wudi earlier. My boy, Cole Laval, baby. Love Cole. We have Liam Fornadell, the former New England Patriot. Gus Hartwig was a rookie that we got an undrafted free agency. He was out for the season in training camp. So technically they reserve his rights. I don't know what his future is with the team if they're going to actually keep him again. Even though these are guys that are the current room, they could decide to cut any of them at any point if they wanted to, which could be any of the latter names on the list, like Liam Fornadell or Gus Hartwig. Here's the nugget on Joe Tippmann. This is a story none of us are talking about because we're always worried about the now. Oh, John Simpson's about to be a free agent. Oh, AVT's about to free agent. Oh gosh. But if we take a step back and take a 10,000-foot view look at this, Tippmann is eligible for a contract extension this offseason. Every player, once they complete their third season, can talk extension. And Joe Tippmann informed Zach Rosenblatt, or Joe Tippmann's camp informed Zach Rosenblatt, that he would love, quote unquote is the word, to sign an early extension with the Jets. And apparently he really loved playing right guard this year, which he was forced to play after they reshuffled everything. So I'm totally open to, re-signing or extending rather Joe Tippmann. He's made 44 straight starts, and that is an active start streak heading into 2026. He's only missed one game in his career that came back in his rookie season. He's been consistent. He's been available. He plays whatever the Jets tell him to. We need you to play guard. We need you to play center. And those are the kind of guys you want to reward, the guys you draft, the guys you develop, and all those things. And before this year happened, I really wanted Joe Tippmann to be the center. But then after this full season of right guard play and he seems happy with it. I don't want to keep herky-jerky throwing him around. So if he's comfortable at right guard, great. Well, we need a right guard. So stay at right guard. We'll figure out center, which we'll get to in a different part of this conversation here, Wudi. But I'm all for extending Tippmann, and I don't have any numbers on that. Spot Track does not have a calculated market value for Tippmann's next deal that I saw from my story earlier. So I don't know how much it would cost, but I'm very open to thinking about it and pondering it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it would be crazy to say that you're not going to extend Joe Tippmann. Like you said, or for the reasons you said, he's kind of like the quintessential person that you do extend. I would love to extend him now. I feel like that always ends up being cheaper for the team, extending them with more,
right.
With the year on. J-Boy, we boys, J-Boy, but I'm going to have to just respectfully disagree because, I cannot put the season record on this group. Not every 3-win team just has no player. Sometimes there are good players that's like saying for Garrett. So should we just cut Garrett Wilson because he got 3 wins? We have good players and they happen to be on the offensive line. And Joe Tippmann is definitely one of them. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to add this in to say I've heard that people debate are quarterbacks a win stat. Mina Kimes on her YouTube channel says she has this airplane fake AI banner running that quarterbacks are not a win stat or wins are not a quarterback stat. I've never heard it in my life for offensive linemen. That is that's a new one. Wow, I've never heard of this in my life. But all right, I guess. Wow, interesting.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So I would definitely not even hesitate Joe Tippmann. I also really like Joe Tippmann. I think he may have all pro potential as a guard.
Sure.
I think the snap, even though he came in as a center and all that, we wanted, and of course, since Nick Mangold, we've been looking for the next one. But I think Tippmann, he was having snap issues, different things where I feel more comfortable with him at guard. So if he also feels more comfortable, all right, let's do it. Let's sign him up. So definitely extend him. But that also does not change my answer. I would still love to have, AVT and Simpson, but that kind of is what creates your conundrum of, they both going to want to start. They both want that. So that's the situation there. But I would just, if there is a way, get them both in the locker room again and have them compete. And that way, boom, you have that, great interior reserve. I'm not willing to put any chips in Marquise Hayes' basket right now. But there are other ways to get that incredible reserve outside of the people we've named. And I think we're about to talk about some of those.
We are. I see Danger Zone says, your Laval love might be a tad biased, Paul. Clutch my pearls. How dare you, sir? Just because I happen to interview the guy and I'm friendly with his agent, that doesn't mean anything. Boy Green can't be bought, which, by the way, my PayPal and Venmo are at BoyGreen25. So, but thank you for that, Danger Zone. Really appreciate that. By the way, speaking of Danger Zone, real quick plug. He says, hit the like button and subscribe to TFT, baby. Take Flight Talk. We're streaming live. We have over 200 people in the room across my social media platforms, and then plus everyone that Wudi is also bringing to the table, which is terrific. So, Wudi, can you give a little plug to some TFT action?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a place, if you want to hear the raw honesty, it's all about honesty. It's the best policy. That's how I was raised, and that's how I'm running the channel. So, the Frank Reich hiring, there was some honesty relayed yesterday. So, yeah, definitely check it out. And, of course, the flagship show with Abby, who's been covering the Jets for over a decade, out here doing her thing. And Michael K., not the one that you're thinking of. He is a college running back who sees those X's and O's, breaks it down for all of us, and he has some great takes. He actually had a lot of nice things to say about the D line coach that we just hired, which
Carl
was
Dunbar, baby. Welcome back, coach.
Yes. So welcome back. Like you just said, it's a pretty solid hire.
Oh, yeah, I think it's a really good hire. Really love Carl. He's done great work with the Steelers over the last 8 years. And then before that, those Rex Ryan years, where he was with Rex for 3 years with the Jets. And then when Rex got fired by the Jets and immediately went to Buffalo, Carl Dunbar went over there as well. So, he has a long track record of success and could be a schematic hint of a change. I've heard some NFL defensive linemen saying that it could be going back to that 3-4 base that we've seen in Rex Ryan past. That's where Carl Dunbar, in his very long coaching career, has cut and made a lot of his bread. So we'll keep an eye out for that one as well in the conversation. But just want to throw that up there in the room. Again, this is our current room. I would say this because let me get this comment up. It was Jim CBW on our Twitter who says we got another 200 people in there. So a shout out to the tweets. Shout out to the Twitter people. Let me see. I did see this from Jim CBW. So two things here. First off, he asked Vera-Tucker, the more expensive of the two between him and John Simpson. I would say yes. I believe, and here's why.
Definitely. I don't even think it's a question.
No, I don't either. I just think youth, he's a former first rounder. There's all that, and he can play tackle. So maybe if he hits the open market, maybe a team's crazy enough to say, you know what, ABT, I know you've been like you were supposed to be a guard, and then you happen to be forced to play tackle at a variety of points. He did play tackle at USC too. We see you as a tackle. Spoiler alert, folks, tackles make more money than guards. So if ABT hits the open market and someone says, hey, you want to be a left tackle? He's like, I don't know. I want to be a guard. Here's $15 to $20 million. Alrighty. I always wanted to be a tackle. Yeah, tackle. So, yes, I think he is because of the versatility of position. I think he is because of youth. I think he is because of talent pedigree. He's a former first rounder. For all those reasons, I think he would be much more expensive. And I see what CBW is saying, or bargain because of the injury. I think if there is a bargain injury path, then everyone is basically offering him the same thing. And then his choice will be, does he love the Jets that much? Or does he love the West Coast? Or does he love contender? And then he would have his choices. But, yeah, I fully expect ABT to make more money than John Simpson, which, hey, good for Simpson. He's going to get himself very decent money out there in the universe for sure. The other one, and that was the other CBW comment I wanted to bring up, extension. He was talking about Tippmann. At what cost? Tippmann's dollar demand? I would think not, because if the Jets are being proactive, they're doing Tippmann a solid by giving him his rainbow amount of money early. If they force him to play the game of playing out his rookie deal, and then if they wanted to go down the franchise tag path, I don't think they would. But if they want to go down that different path, then Tippmann, I think, is trying to get every dollar he can. I think, by all accounts from his comments to Zach Rosenblatt, that he loves this team and he wants to be here. It sounds like there is some element, I'm now stretching and connecting dots, of a hometown discount. But again, I don't even know what we're talking about here. Tippmann's been really good for us, but is he highest paid guard in football good? I don't think so. I don't think he's there. I don't think he's terrible. So I don't know money-wise what someone could command and he's 24, by the way. He'll be 25 by the start of the 2026 season. So super young. I'm not sure, but I don't think it would be at some crazy cost. If the Jets are being proactive, I think they're getting somewhat of a discount, and we'll see ultimately what that means, Wudi.
Definitely. I mean, historically, that's always how it is. When they do it at this point of the contract, it's way better for the team overall. So shout out to Joe, talking about, let's get it done. He's a true Jet at heart. We all love him.
Yeah, 100%. So love you, Joe. By the way, a couple of things here. First off, let's take a check on our poll that I tainted, according to Wudi. Who would you rather keep, John Simpson or AVT? It's 50-50 now. Wow, the votes are, whoa, oh my goodness. I'm seeing it. Pew, 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 pew. It's jumping all over the place. It was 60-40, 50-50, back to 60-30 again. So wow, this is jumping all over the place. So we'll keep an eye on that. Continue to vote on that poll for one of the other AVT or John Simpson. Let's go draft real quick, Wudi. This is going to be a lot quicker than the other ones we've done in our other episodes. Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 big board. I won't play the trivia music for you, Wudi. How many interior offensive linemen? This obviously does not include tackles. No tackles. Well, we're good at tackle. Thank God. Finally, we have something solved in this Jets roster. How many interior offensive linemen do you think are in Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 big board ahead of April's draft?
2.
2. You nailed it. Okay, beautiful. Nice. Excellent work. Okay. I practiced this before the show, so let me make sure I get name pronunciation correct here.
Oh, damn. They from Nigeria?
This guy might be. I don't know. Actually, I believe he's Polynesian, actually, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean,
on this first one. The second one, the name I believe I have down pretty well, but here it is. So this guy out of Penn State is the number 11th player overall on Daniel Jeremiah's big board. He thinks very highly of this man. And this man's name is, okay, let me get this. Alijah Ane. Okay. I told you I practiced it like 20 times before the show. So let me make sure I try to say this. It is Alijah Ane. So there you go, a Penn State interior offensive lineman. I felt like I practiced it so well, and then I don't even know if I did proper justice. So I apologize to his entire family. But nonetheless, he is 11th overall on the big board. And then we drop all the way to 49th on his 50-man big board. These are the only 2 guys there, and that is Chase Besantis of Texas A&M. 2 interior offensive linemen. That's it. And go back to my name pronunciation sheet here.
Yeah. Boss girl's comment. I wasn't gonna say it, but she said it, so I'm just gonna.
What did she say? Let me go back to it. I think you need to keep practicing. Oh Jesus! Oh, that's brutal. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll just say last name here. I think that may help me. Ioane. That's his last name. He seems like he's going to be a top 15 pick in the draft. Let me just throw it to you, Wudi, because
I mean, if you're asking me, do we draft these dudes? Hell no. Clearly, I'm not
because obviously this 49th overall guy is not going to be a first round pick. That would be surprising. He's probably going to be a second or third round pick based on the big boards. But I'm saying the Penn State kid could be a top 15 pick. So if he's on the board at 16, do you have any interest?
Hell, like not at all. Like I've already said, very clearly, first 4 picks the Jets make should all be defense. I will accept a wide receiver. But if they draft, I would actually lose my mind. Up in here. If they draft an offensive lineman in the first round again, like you've already said, I don't think you actually said it this episode. I think you said
it was a previous episode. Yeah,
that no other team has invested what the New York Jets have invested in the offensive line, and that's a real reason why we all feel so good about the line right now. Yes, depth is important. I'm the one that's talking about the depth that we need, but the first and second round of this draft isn't about depth right now. We need to find blue chip dudes to be the foundation of the team moving forward. So I would be definitely ill if the New York Jets draft an offensive lineman in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, so I'll repeat the stat here for those who didn't hear it on a previous show. Since 2020, the New York Jets have invested more in their offensive line than any other team in football. So, of course, some of those guys are still here, thankfully, but some are not. Mekhi Becton was a first-rounder, and I'm going to go out of order, but just Mekhi Becton was a first-rounder. Alijah Vera-Tucker was a first-rounder. Olu Muiwa was a first-rounder. Armand Membu was a first-rounder. And then if you go beyond that, obviously, Joe Tippmann was a top 50 pick. So, there is some serious investments here on the offensive line for the New York Jets. And they have invested more than anybody. And we all feel pretty good about it. But I agree. I think it would be massive overkill if the Jets said, you know what? Yeah, we're a pretty good offensive line, but we could be a great offensive line. Now, don't get me wrong. We'll make a case here very shortly of the free agency options at interior offensive line, where I think there's a way for the Jets not to be complacent, but financially speaking, invest into that group. But yeah, top 15 pick with all their other needs. I loved the AVT trade up. That's who I wanted a couple years ago, and that was fun. But I just don't know if I could go back at that point. I feel like John Simpson, AVT, there's going to be other ways to get there without using the 16th overall pick on that position. All right.
Let me just address a couple questions. One was actually asked directly to me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So do I think that Mr. Reich is going to demand a QB? I mean, this is a guy who, when he was head coach, when he was in charge, he cycled through a whole bunch of veteran options at QB, including Phillip Rivers, Jacoby Brissett. He has some old Matt Ryan. He has some old dudes. So I'm going to have to say no. I don't think he's going to, demand, we need Ty Simpson in here. Like, no, I think he can make something work with Kirk Cousins, with Jacoby Brissett, the same dude that he's worked with before, or Kyler Murray. In a lot of ways, I actually would imagine he would prefer a veteran because it's probably a lot easier to just work with somebody like that, of that mindset, that's already, seen things before, done things before, just to have that easier communication. So, I don't expect Reich to demand. If they draft a QB, that's our guy AG doing something for the future.
Yeah, really, if you look at his history, the lone exception is Bryce Young was the number 1 overall pick. Besides that, it's a ton of veterans that he worked with. So my anticipation is he is going to push. He's going to me, I'd be surprised if he wasn't a big part of the conversation of who the veteran quarterback is for the Jets. I don't imagine AG's, salooning out there. Pew, pew, pew. Hey, Frankie, here's your random veteran I found in the streets. Hopefully it works.
We did that last year, but, we don't going to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's literally what he did last year, bro.
So there you go. Anywho, yes.
Then he won't do it 2 years in a row.
Yeah, you said you have other questions answered.
Hep, our guy Hep. He said we don't have a guard and a center. Well, I would definitely say that at least one of those guys, AVT or John Simpson, is getting re-signed. So that is the guard right there. And some of us,
Tittman's obviously the other guard. So
yeah, exactly. Well, I think he knows that because he said we don't have a guard. Like, that's one. So yeah, Tittman is one, and then yes, John Simpson or AVT is the other. Some of us are saying both. If they can have both, then that's great. But guard, it will be definitely handled in free agency. The center situation, I mean, Josh Myers, to me, he's a top 32 center, so that means we got a center. Now, he might be 29th, so we might want to upgrade, but I think we have starting caliber players at all 5 positions simply by re-signing the players that we have. And Josh Myers has already re-signed. We're talking about extending Tittman. It's really just Simpson or AVT that's going to fill in the other slot. But yeah, I think we're actually pretty, really good here.
Yeah, I think you just said it well. So I'll just hit retweet on that. When you say that Josh Myers is a top 32 center, that's how I see it. He is a average. Again, I don't think we're going to be like, is that him in the Pro Bowl? I don't know if we're ever going to say that for Josh Myers, but again, not every guy on your line, despite the Jets' constant investment of first-round picks in the position, have to be first-round picks. You can find guys in other ways, and I believe as we get to the free agency element of this conversation, which we're pushing forward to, I believe that's it as well. Again, any other questions you wanted to address here, Woodster?
No, sir.
All righty, so let's do this. Okay, Wudi, again, you guys can continue to vote in the poll. So we're going to go through the ESPN big board of their top 50 free agents on the interior offensive line. So some could be centers, some could be guards. I will provide any intel that is necessary. And you, again, same thing that we did on some of these previous episodes, Wudi, a thumbs up, a thumbs down, any interest, and we'll sort of go through that process here on the program. This is a guy I've talked a lot about. So let's bring it up here. He is 3rd overall on ESPN's free agent big board. His name is Tyler Linderbaum. He is the center for the Baltimore Ravens. He will enter the 2026 season at the age of 26. He has missed, I think it's 2 games in his entire career. Pro Bowler 3 times over. His pass block win rate is 97.2%. That's tied for second among 31 qualifying centers this season. Any interest in Lindy?
I mean, interest. I mean, that would be crazy for any person who wants to win football games to say they're not interested in a top 3, top 5 player like in a position, So there's definitely interest. Now, in terms of, is it feasible to bring them in? Obviously he is going to cost a lot of dollars. You've also just paid Josh Myers some dollars. Was that under because, you keep talking about AVT and Simpson, I want, starter money or, I want to be a starter. Like, did Myers sign his extension under the premise that he would be a starter? Is that going to affect, bringing in, Linderbaum? Now, of course, you could just be like, F his feelings. It's Linderbaum. And I wouldn't be too mad at that, actually, because, we're trying to win games. But, locker room, what's the word?
Chemistry, camaraderie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, chemistry. Yeah, that matters. So, I'm interested, but given the moves they've already made, I just don't think it's a solid fit for the squad. I know, obviously, you feel differently.
Yeah, so it just seems like this is a girl that has expensive tastes, and you're not willing to pay up at these fancy restaurants. Which, okay. Which, by the way, let's answer a few of these questions because they sort of go with the conversation of what we're talking about. So Hep brings up the $20 million increase. He's talking about the cap's expansion from last season to this season. It's expected to be a $22 million increase for every team. So in theory, oh man, why are we going to waste all that money on him? Wait, the money fell from the skies. So that would be a way. That's a way to interpret it. Boss Girl says, why invest 22 to 24 million in center when you could draft the quality center, upgrade Myers in the 4th round? Poor resource allocation. Boss Girl, I think what you said is easier said than done, right? Everyone says, draft a guy, and then he's just better. It's just an upgrade. The Jets in their history of drafting, well, I'm not sure if it's just a guaranteed upgrade by going to the draft. In theory, your plan makes sense, Boss Girl, is that, cheap labor. That's what the draft is, especially the 3rd or 4th round. We're talking about, think about this for Joe Tippmann, and he was a top 50 pick. He had a 4-year deal for $8.3 million. Let's just say Tyler Linderbaum becomes the highest paid center in football at $20 million. Right now, the top number is $18 million. That's Creed Humphrey. But Tyler, I imagine, is going to beat that open market, all the bidding. He'll probably beat it. Let's just call it 20 for easy math. So Joe Tippmann is making, what's the math on that, Wudi? If you can beep, boop, bop that, right? Okay,
$2 million. It's just $2 million. You just have 4 years for $8 million. That's $2 million.
Yeah, $2 million a year. Yeah, I guess I could just do it that way. But the point that I was just trying to make is that, that's $8 million over 4 years. Tyler Linderbaum on his new deal is going to make $20 million per year. So, just think about how that goes. And that's if Joe Tippmann, you pick a top 50 pick player. If you listen to Bosco and you got a center in the 4th round, it's even cheaper. It's we're talking about $4 million across 4 years. So if you hit, it works out very well, and that's sort of allocation. My argument for Linderbaum, and I won't go through the whole thing. You guys can listen to my Tyler Linderbaum Raven show I did a while back on Boy Green Daily. But here's the quick version of it. Are there bigger needs than center on the Jets? Of course there are. But sometimes you must bend the knee to the free agency that you're given. So, yes, would I prefer a quarterback? Yes, but I don't think there's a quarterback out there that I want to throw a lot of money at. Would I prefer a wide receiver or an edge rusher or this or this? Sure, of course I would. But the third, as we just talked about the CS Man big board, the 3rd best player on the big board, not 3rd best center, the 3rd best player, according to ESPN, that's one person's opinion, is Tyler Linderbaum. This is an opportunity to upgrade a position that Josh Myers is fine. If you're complacent, he's a fine center, but you could do much better. And you have a chance to get one of the best centers in the league. And as Hap mentioned, the Jets have done very well when they've had great center play. For 17, 18 consecutive years, they had Kevin Y and Nick Mangold, God rest his soul, back-to-back, and they were the leaders of great offensive line play moving forward for a long time. So it would be a sizable amount of money to invest, but the Jets fuck up free agency, excuse my Guatemalan, all the time. And if I'm going to invest, Tyler Linderbaum coming from a winning organization, multi-time Pro Bowler, is always healthy, always think he just checks off a lot of boxes that I can project on my team from Ravens to Jets, and I don't see where he fails. I just think there's a very high floor, which makes me feel safe investing this kind of money, even though it's not my money. So yes, I'd be all over Tyler Linderbaum. But hey, different strokes, different folks. This is why we get to debate and talk about it. And Botsker, I'll just say this, bring up your comment. She says, I'd rather use the money on Devin Lloyd. If all of a sudden that's another poll choice, yes. If I could only have one, I'd prefer Devin Lloyd to Tyler Linderbaum because I'm really high on Linderbaum and the off-ball linebacker position of what it is to the Jets versus what I'd be comfortable with Josh Myers. But sometimes it is not this, that, or the other. So that's interesting. And Easy Money, by the way, on Twitter, Easy Money. Myers was 2 years, $11.5 million, not starter money, backup money. I agree as well. I think they set themselves up for both. If Myers is a starter, sweet, no problem. And if he ends up being the 6-man backup, okay, no worries. So I think they're sort of covered either way. Is there anything else you wanted to get off your chest about Linderbaum?
I think Macho probably said it best. Linderbaum, I think he would be worth every penny because he is clearly a bona fide stud. But it would, be spending money on a premium. It would be, not just, we spend a premium on a position that, we got somebody that he got a pulse, they're 32. So that's like, I feel that's a really good summary of the situation.
All right, let me throw this just example at you. You tell me
you can't agree with that summary.
No, the summary is good. So I'm just going to throw an example out there, right? So Malik Willis, I don't know if people are going to be willing to do this, but let's say someone's going to be willing to pay him $20 million a year, which, by the way, is crap money for quarterbacks, but that'd be a lot for Malik Willis. Let's say it's $20 million because we're going to equal the money of him and Linderbaum for a second. Who would you rather give the money to? Malik Willis, who has 6 career starts, $20 million per year, or Tyler Linderbaum, $20 million per year?
Linderbaum, not sure where you're going, but yeah, Linderbaum.
There are people in the audience that'd rather pay Malik Willis $20 million given that choice. And I've heard it from people. That's why I'm saying, you're saying you don't know where I'm one of them. Well, I know you're not, but I'm just saying that like other people are. So like to me, that's freaking nuts.
But I think the point of this summary is that like, if you don't have Linderbaum, we have Josh Myers. If we don't have Malik Willis, we got Brady Cook. Like, that position is not straight right now. There is no one with a who is the QB? I guess it's Fields because he's still on the roster. So from that point of a desperation standpoint, I can see why people are like, oh, give Malik Willis.
All right, let's go off the beaten path here because your buddy Lou B, Super Jets fan, is in there.
Hey,
wow.
Well, put your $2 towards your raffle this month, Lou B. What would we pay for Max Crosby picks and money? Yes, Jake Glazer reporting that Max Crosby, he getting moved, and apparently it's going to cost more than what the Packers gave up for Micah Parsons, which was 2 number ones, and Kenny Clark, who was a former 3-time Pro Bowler. So, Wudi, woohoo! You ready to open up the wallet?
I'm not gonna lie, respectfully, we gotta just. What we got to do is just hope he doesn't go to the AFC East. That's what we got to do. We cannot. Which, oh my God, my cousin Brandon Roberts, who you guys have already seen in the comment, he recently infiltrated the comments. I didn't want to give him any life though, so I never said it. But he did. No, not today. He did last week. I want to say he was in the conference infiltrating. But anyway, he already texted me talking about. Crosby's a future Patriot. I don't want anything to do with the AFC East, but it would be. We have so many holes that we cannot entertain these for a couple of years. This person, unless it's a quarter. Like Joe Burrow, to me, is like the only, or Lamar, is like the only two
right,
that
quarterback,
we can,
right?
Yeah, that we can entertain because that's a proven franchise quarterback in their 20s. Every other person we unfortunately cannot entertain because we don't have the roster. Max Crosby would come here and it would be the same thing that he was just doing in Vegas, like arguably worse because we don't have picks. Like, yeah, no, we can't do that.
Yeah, he's 28. He will be 29 before the start of the season. He probably has a 3-year run, maybe 4 years. Maybe I'm underselling it, of like crazy Max Crosby play. And then he's going to start precipitously dropping off there. So for those reasons, I'm out. But like Wudi, before you go to bed at night, just because you're not getting him, that doesn't mean that's a worst case scenario. You got to make sure none of your division rivals get him because Buffalo is going to be looking to make a splash. New England, if they win, you're like, yeah, let's win more, and they trade him. If they lose, we need a piece to get us over the top. So they could convince themselves either way to jump in that. You just got to hope that they don't. Yeah, for those reasons, I'm out, Alubi. I don't mind a splash. Splashes are fun, but I don't think so. And Bosco, I won't keep beating up this point because I've said it on other shows, but you say, both Linderbaum and Lloyd probably re-sign with their teams before free agency opens with their crying emoji. Again, I'd be flabbergasted if Linderbaum signs before because, again, he can maximize his value. He's got a very unique position, which I've talked about on a previous episode, where he could get a lot of money. Devin Lloyd, I guess that could happen potentially. They have an interesting cap situation, so they're going to have to do some gymnastics to fit him in, but we'll see what happens. I think both of them hit the open market, and then we'll have a chance, and then we'll see what happens with that chance. All right, Wudi, we'll pick up the pace here with some of these other guys on the list. And again, we're talking about interior offensive linemen on this list. The next guy up here on this ESPN big board for you to potentially sink your teeth into, and I got another name pronunciation here. All right. I did some practice before the show. So
you did? Okay.
Well, I mean, I thought I did practice last time and that did nothing. So, okay.
That's true.
Okay. This is the 31st player on the list. This is a veteran. His name is Isaac Seumalo. Seumalo. He is the Pittsburgh Steelers guard. He will be 32 by the start of the 2026 season. He's been in the league for a decade. He had a 97.3% pass rush win rate, ranked second among 65 qualifying guards this season, and had a 76.9% run block rate, which was top 5 at his position as well. Do you have interest if the Jets just, again, we go to J-Boy, fuck them all, get rid of them all. Okay, you get a new guard in there. Do you want Isaac?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that last name, but yeah, I definitely would. Sounds like a solid, veteran, and that's another thing is that like I feel like this roster is missing the old men. I feel like every roster you need you do need old people because they help the young people just off the field, on the field, setting examples, all that type of stuff. So that would be a great thing for, the Titmans to see. I mean, as you know, our offensive line is like, one of the youngest. We have a whole bunch of people that are not even 22. Like, what I'm saying? So now to bring in somebody like that, coming from an organization like that, I think that would be a nice, if you can't figure it out with AVT, right? So now that's like 12 million saved. If you think about it like that, then all right, now we got Isaac, come on down. I think that would be a great addition to the squad.
Yeah, I'm going to overrate this for sure, but when things happen, we like comparing it to previous things that we've seen, and this will be for the Jets. In 2008, the Jets brought over Alan Faneca from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's now in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and that just brought like a seriousness, a glue, a veteranship to. And Nick Mangold, again, God rest his soul, did an interview with me 2 or 3 years ago, and he talked about the impact that him and Nick Mangold and DeBrickshaw Ferguson were around the same age and young gups in the league. And they said when Alan Faneca came in, there was like the seriousness. Oh, this is how we're supposed to be doing this. We've sort of been just figuring it out, which, by the way, they did a very good job of just figuring it out. But when Faneca came, it was so serious. So I'm not sure if we could put Isaac in Alan Faneca Hall of Fame territory, but coming also from Pittsburgh and bringing some of that veteranship, to me, that could be very intriguing. So, yes, I'm totally for it. If the Jets, again, the prerequisite to this is you wouldn't be having John Simpson or ABT, I would imagine, if you're swimming in these waters. What about a young guy, Wudi? Let's go to the other side of it. Decide this. Number 33 on the free agent big board list, Zion Johnson, 26 by the start of the 2026 season, former highly drafted interior offensive lineman from the Chargers. He's been a young and durable interior blocker with movement traits. Johnson, apparently, according to the ESPN bio that they put in here for the free agents, he can fit in both zone and gap run schemes. He's just entering his prime, and he had a 90.7% pass block win rate over his entire 4-year career. So there's sort of a consistency there for Zion.
I don't know. Was he playing in the playoffs? Yeah, because if he was, no, for real. If he was playing in the playoffs, we are good on that because the Chargers O-line, the boys that they sent to the playoffs, they were not it. And I know they were banged up. That's why I'm asking if he was one of the, Joe Alt missed a bajillion games. They had a lot of injuries. All season, the Chargers offensive line specifically. So obviously everything that you just said, it sounds positive. I probably
bad news or good news, Woody, I guess, depending on your perspective.
Oh, he is.
Yeah. He's only missed 2 games in his entire career, so he's been incredibly durable, including playing all 17 games this past season, and then obviously heading into the playoffs. So.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna have to respectfully decline. I really, like I said, what we said about the veteranship, even though JD Surf City definitely disagrees. I don't know anybody. I really don't, literally not one person who was hyping up Schweitzer. Maybe the coaching staff.
Yeah, Schweitzer. Wow.
Yeah, that was talking about he's gonna bring something other than water to his teammates. Maybe the coaching staff was saying something, but none of us was talking about Wes Schweitzer as anything special. Tyron, yeah, I'll give you that. Tyron Smith, we were.
But I think he's saying they were both ridiculous pickups. I don't think he agrees. He says, I remember when people said he was supposed to bring in something as a vet. I think he's combating what we were saying about we need.
That's clearly what he's doing. That's what I'm saying. So I'm combating, saying that not one person said Schweitzer was going to be anything. I don't know why he brought up Schweitzer, but I'm giving him Tyron. Tyron Smith,
I see what you're saying. Okay.
It was, that was bad in hindsight. But you also you brought up Tyron, that was bad in hindsight. Boy Green brought up Alan Faneca, and that was great in hindsight. There's both situations do happen, but I think there are more Faneca situations where you bring in somebody and just that osmosis comes in. I mean, Tyron also, he got hurt. So, now you're not seeing him work out and do all the different things in the room. So, I think there is value for sure in having veterans.
I know you hate when I use this terminology, but I use it in my life all the time. Woody, would it rev your engine when I use that phrase? You're like, rev your engine, what a weirdo. But
I don't think it's that serious. I don't think I've ever said. Okay, but
rev your engine to pluck from a rival. There are 2 names. I'm going to package them together here. Okay. The Buffalo Bills offensive line is starting to break apart. They've been captain continuity for a long time. 2 of their starters are set to be free agents. Connor McGovern, no, folks, not that Connor McGovern. There had been 2 Connor McGoverns roaming around this earth the entire time. Not that one. So who also plays center. It was very weird. So Connor McGovern of Buffalo is 35 on the list. And then David Edwards, their guard, is 36 on the list. Here's the quick scoop ski on both of them. Connor McGovern will be 28 by the start of the 2026 season. They referenced him as a steady pass blocker. He had a 97.2% pass block win rate in 2025, which was tied for second among all qualifying centers. So he played very well this past season. Then you have David Edwards, similar age. He's actually going to be a little bit older. He'll be 29 by the start of the 2026 season. David Edwards, he's a former option quarterback and basketball star from high school. And they said that light feet helped him in the National Football League. They referenced that he played his best football as a pro over the past couple of seasons. He has a 95% pass block win rate in 2025. That was 12th best among qualifying guards. So David Edwards, guard, Connor McGovern, center. Interest in hitting Buffalo where it hurts.
Vroom, vroom, yo. What are you talking about? Vroom, vroom. You know what I'm talking about? Definitely the double whammy of hitting the division. That's one of my favorite things, actually, is to take players from other division, like Curtis Martin. Come on now. That's like my favorite Jet of all time. Just taking people from other places or from division rivals and watching them just flourish. The Buffalo Bills specifically had like one of the best offensive lines this past season. So either one of those would be a huge get. I cannot lie. I know we just talked about Linderbaum, like, too much of it. So I don't know how much, this Connor McGovern would cost. But if we're talking, reasonable numbers, like, that's a no hesitation type situation. And remember that, you made it a point to specify, we're talking about if, John Simpson doesn't sign. I don't give a fuck if John Simpson is signed or not. I would sign. I need one of the Simpson or AVT on the team. They need to be on the team. But I'm still, that's the depth I'm talking about. So, yeah, I would definitely still be looking at Edward. I'll be looking at McGovern. I'll be looking at my guy Isaac on the Steelers, regardless of Simpson, if Simpson is a New York Jet or not.
All right, so this is going to be a tough explanation, I suppose. But this next guy is more like Alan Faneca, like he has a very impressive resume, but he didn't play on teams that went to the Super Bowl. His team sucked. So I guess I might as well just say the name, and we'll sort of go from there. This is 42 on your list, number one in your heart. Joel Bitonio. He is the Cleveland Browns guard. He will be 34 by the start of the 2026 season. But if anyone knows, and maybe not, right? He may just go under the radar like Joe Thomas did on all those shitty Browns team. In his 12-year career, he started 178 games. He's been described as a savvy technician. He has a 96.4% pass block win rate, which is third best among guards this past season, while only allowing 2 sacks. It's up in the air whether he will retire or decide to continue to play, but he's considered one of the best guards we've had in the 21st century. A lot of Browns fans believe he will eventually be headed to the Pro Football Hall of Fame with his former teammate, Joe Thomas. So he's a big name, even if maybe common casual folks don't know who he is. So the name power's there, but he's just been on a lot of shitty Browns teams.
Side note, this is one of the main reasons why I don't trust Kevin Stefanski. His offensive line was elite. Like, I'm talking about top 3 offensive line, top 5 running back in Nick Chubb. He had Baker. He had multiple pass catchers throughout that time. He had a prime, like Odell, straight from the Giants. Odell. Yeah. Jarvis Landry before he was washed, before he came laundry. Right? Like, he was fantastic.
That's a good one. Yeah, I like that.
And they couldn't do nothing. And he had a top 5 defense. Schwartz calling the D. Like, I don't trust Kevin Stefanski. And people's like, you think the Browns stink. Like, so you're just like in your head, like, Wudi, what are you talking about? But like, if you look at their rosters during his team and during his time, he had like a top 5 roster in the NFL for 3 straight years and didn't do anything. So anyway, would I give Joel a call? I wouldn't. If you're contemplating retirement right now, I mean, you're not built for what we got going on, because everything right now is a long-term situation. The Tyron Smith, that 1-year rental, it was 1-year rental because this is a 1-year all in for the Super Bowl. Right now, we trying to win 5 games in a season. I don't think, we trying to call Joe for all that. Just if you're thinking about retirement, this is not the place for you.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation he could decide to retire. But again, a wonderful, spectacular career. I wish more people knew about him. But yeah, folks, that's worth a Goog search for sure on our boy Joel Bitonio. And the last name on the list, and Pop, our father, has already started planting seeds about this guy, because we do these episodes where, you get an off-season prediction, like, who are some guys you would sign if you were running the ship? And there's this guy, again, a name I don't know if a lot of fans are going to recognize him, but he's 43rd on the list. His name is Cade Mays. He will be 27 by the start of the 2026 season, most recently on the Carolina Panthers. He's 6'6", so he sort of has that Joe Tippmann size. which is a bit unique. He had a 94.3% pass block win rate this season, which was 20th out of 31 qualifying centers. So he's more mediocre in a trying not to be in an insulting way. Like he's more middle of the pack.
Yeah.
He's younger, but you sort of get that in the price too. You get what you pay for sometimes. Now, sometimes that's not the case in free agency. Sometimes you have to wildly overpay when you get to some of these levels, but he seems like a guy that's more under the radar, borderline top 50 on the ESPN big board. And my pop has identified him as a target he would like to upgrade from Josh Myers, but curious your thoughts.
I mean, 20th out of 31. I mean, that's an upgrade from Josh. But I don't know how many rungs up the ladder. That might be, a couple,
sure.
One or two rungs. I would probably pass, I don't know, center. I would
puff pass. Gotcha.
Yeah, I would probably pass. I mean, because Myers is pretty much the same thing. He doesn't have the size. But he is similar age. Similar spot in the league.
So you're willing to upgrade if it's significant upgrade, but if it's like you're like, then don't.
Yes.
All right.
Well, that's what happens when your line is good. It's like, why are we talking about these, minor things? Like the line is good, but if we're talking about, we about to make it this, then of course, because right now, I don't think anyone is saying the Jets' offensive line this year is top 5. But if we want to make it top 5, and boom, Linderbaum, okay, sign me up, because I love that. Every time the Jets, had just an amazing line, just pushing dudes and creating these holes for the running backs, that's the New York Jets. When I think of New York Jets football, that's what I think about. It's only recently where I've had to think about all this nonsense that we've had to watch.
That's for sure. Well, folks, that's it. There is the free agents that the Jets will have on the interior offensive line. We talked about the players that are still on the roster. We talked about the 2 draft options in the top 50 of General Jeremiah's big board. We talked about the free agents that are on the ESPN top 50 big board. For free agency that is set to come, that is both at center and guard. And here we are. So this is going to be a big one. Again, maybe Wudi's going to get the last laugh here. And then we said Simpson or AVT. And it was both, motherfucker. I can't wait for that text on my phone whenever that gets the text will be cinema, as the kids say. So, Wudi, a great show. Thank you to the 300 people in the room. Over an hour. These have been super informative shows. And let's give you a chance to plug for whether it's your Instagram people or no matter where they're watching the program. Again, TFT, baby. That's what a lot of people are talking about there in the universe. They're all over the TFT train. It's a hot thing right now. It's not puff, puff, pass. It's puff, puff. All right, I need another puff, puff, puff.
Hey, yo. I was so locked into this episode. It was such a fun time that I did not at all really address my Instagram community, and a lot of you tuned in. So I apologize to all my guys over there. Lou B was even in there. Indy Jets, of course, my guy, and of course the one and only Dylan Terman, DT, who we had a wonderful conversation on the Take Flight Talk channel. A lot of those things are still super relevant, just simply because the Jets taking their sweet time, doing things. So a lot of the things that we talked about then are super relevant now. So shout out to my guys over there. But yeah, if you want content that's real, that's honest. I mean, of course, we are Jets fans. We want the Jets to win the Super Bowl, but we're not going to just blindly praise every single move that they make. That's what Take Flight Talk is all about. It is real, honest fandom and coverage and news and all that type of stuff from people who you can trust.
100%. Yeah, we don't be just hyping up random people. No. We don't do that around here.
Cole Lavelle, mention him 0 times on Take Flight Talk.
Well, that's. I'm sorry that you're not combing through, sifting through the sand. I'm like, oh, a gem, hidden gem. I'm sorry that you're not going to that level, Woody. I don't know if I would have highlighted that on your podcast promotion, but that's neither here nor there.
Do you want to full screen yourself now? Because CBW.
Oh, sure.
He acts who blindly praises every move. So this is a chance.
That's not nice. Played the fifth there. I played the fifth. I'm gonna use my first charge time out of the half. I'm gonna take a TO. We're gonna go to halftime. We're gonna regroup, reassess, and we'll come back with the game plan for sure moving forward. But God bless everybody. Thanks for joining us here on the program. No matter where you're watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Go ahead, Wood.
Just real quick, if J Boy is still here, which I hope our guy is, sure. I need to know if there is any player on the Jets roster, the entire 53, worth keeping. Because
I'll get rid of them all, obviously.
I mean, that's what it sounds like. So I'm just curious to know. Like he's really talking about everybody. Garrett, Jermaine, Brees, everybody.
He just wants to burn it down. Like it's that Joker Dark Knight scene. It's about the principle. He just wants to watch it all burn.
Yeah. You might have to get banned for referencing this fantastic trilogy. You out here butchering every line, every word.
I want to watch world burn. Is that what his thing is? Or something?
No, that's what Alfred said to Batman in reference to the Joker. That's what I'm saying. Oh my god.
Well,
killing this trilogy so bad. And it's like such a fantastic trilogy too.
It's a great show.
He was talking about darkness is my friend.
That one. That one I was totally going out of pocket. I don't know any of the Bane lines, so I shouldn't have been swimming there. That's
but it doesn't look like he's responding. But yeah. So I guess we should just let it be. Special start time next week. We're gonna have to remind a little bit later to the time because I know it's almost a full week out. But next week Tuesday, we start at 4. But we still doing this. We out here going through this roster, combing through the roster. I think it's a lot of fun. Based on the comment section, I feel like you guys have a lot of fun. We learning together. We looking at the league together. So we got the next position coming up. Special start time Tuesday, 4:00.
Yes, we are normally at 3:00. So it's on me on this one. I got some medical appointments for the family. So we'll readjust, but we want to make sure we're live for you guys to have a really good time. So shout out to the 300 people in the room. Oh, an even better start time for CBW. So, all right, there you go. I guess we'll go to the board and see if that's something to permanently change, I suppose. And we'll get back to you on that one. But God bless. Folks, if you appreciated me or Wudi and you want to support on the way out, just hit that like button. That's the best way to do it. That's a free way to support the show and also hit that subscribe button as well. So we appreciate it. Wudi, I'll see you next week, pal. And I will be back tomorrow morning with Bob Lederer on a Friday morning.
Absolutely. Appreciate everybody.